보시면 될 것 같습니다. 자, 그러면 첫 번째로 제가 소개해드릴 분은 우리 존 로버츠이고요. 저는 이제 코믹솔로지라고 여러분 많이 들어보셨는지 모르겠는데 그 디지털 코믹 플랫폼이죠. 그래서 모바일에서 그 만화를 구매하고 볼 수 있는 그런 플랫폼을 인데 코믹솔로지 코파운더이고 그다음에 현재는 코믹솔로지에서 서브밋이라는 프로그램하고 그다음에 디지털 스토리텔링의 디렉터 역할을 맡고 계신 분이고요. 네, 그분을 모시고 우리 그 진화하는 웹툰 세션 첫 번째 세션을 가져보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 그러면 박수로 환영해 주시기 바랍니다.
Hello, how's everyone today? Good? All right. So my name is John D. Roberts, and I am the co-founder of Comicsology, and I am currently the director of Comicsology Submit, and I lead up digital storytelling. For those of you who aren't familiar with Comicsology, we are the premier digital comics platform in the United States. We are international, but as far as U.S. comics go, we carry most of the major publishers. We have Marvel, we have DC, we have Image, we have comics from like The Walking Dead to Superman to Spider-Man. Currently, we have over 50,000 comics available for sale on the Comicsology platform. We sell most of our comics same day as print. What that means is that you can get it for any of the books that you can buy in the stores, in the retail stores. You can also buy them on our platform at the same price and the same day. That was a huge step for us. For those of you who don't know, we started out in 2009. We pretty much launched on the iPad. We started out on the iPhone, and we invented something that we call guided view, which would allow us to tell, to basically break down a big comic book page and put it onto screens like this. And that's really what set us apart from everyone else, is that we were very worried about, not just about the comics themselves, but about, translating the stories into a smaller size. So, I love comics. I used to work at Marvel Comics. C.B. Cebulski was I was his first office mate when he worked at Marvel. I pioneered their first initiative into digital comics, which was the .comics. I took all those things that I had learned and I found a way to continue doing it after I had left, and that's pretty much where Comicsology had come from. We decided that we wanted to do comics right, and then when the iPhone had come out, that this was the best way to do it. So like I said, we were on the iPhone. We launched in 2009. We were the first comics store app to launch. Before that, we had, all of our competitors were doing single issue apps, which is where you had to download single issues. Each issue was an individual app on your desktop and on your phone. And if you remember back in those days, the iPhone only allowed you to have a certain amount of apps on your device at any time. So by offering in-app purchasing, by offering a store, we kind of revolutionized the idea of digital comics. And we produced white labels for Marvel, we produced white labels for DC Comics, for Image Comics. If you're reading a digital comic, a US digital comic, you're probably reading it through us, and I thank you for that. My children thank you for that. Are people here familiar with Comicsology? Use your hands. Well, you have to. All right. So one of the things that we found out really early on when we started Comicsology is that creators would come to us and they say, hey, you've built this really great platform. How can I take advantage of it? And we're talking about the independent creators. A lot of people, you're familiar with webtoons. Those creators came to us and they said, we really want to be a part of your platform. How can we do that? And at first, we came up with an idea and it was just complete rubbish. We looked at this and we said, this is just a really bad idea. We got to start over because we have to do this right. Because ultimately, we are beholden to our readers, we're beholden to our creators, and most importantly, we're beholden to us. And part of the reason why Comixology is so successful is because we built something that we, the people who built it, wanted to use. And so when we first started the idea of allowing people to submit, like I said, the idea just didn't work. So we scrapped it, we started over, and that's where Submit came from. Comixology Submit.
Meet Too Much Coffee Man. He's the star of his own comic. He wants people to read his comic, but doesn't know how. Creators like this inspire us at Comixology to build Submit. Comixology Submit gives creators everywhere the opportunity to showcase and make bank in their work. What are you waiting for, Too Much Coffee Man? Go ahead and click Submit.
So it's our fun little video for Submit. So Submit launched, this is the website. Now the idea behind Submit is that anyone who wants to submit a comic to Comixology can do it through the Submit platform. It was designed specifically to make it as easy and seamless as possible to go from entering your information to getting it onto the Comixology platform. And the idea was that there are a lot of these creators out there that aren't working with major publishers. There are a lot of creators out there who are doing their own thing, creating their own stories. And we wanted to empower them. We wanted to give them the ability to tell their stories on a larger scale. The Comixology platform is international. So a lot of times, in traditional American comics, for independent creators, what they'll do is they'll sell on consignment, which means that they'll go to their local comic book store and they'll give them a bunch of copies of the book and they'll say, whatever you sell, I'll take whatever percentage of it. So what we did was, instead of being limited to your own area code, instead of being limited to the blocks around your house that you could go to, or going to the conventions and selling your stuff, we opened it up to pretty much anyone who wanted to, anywhere in the anywhere internationally. And you're only as far away as your smart device will take you. And every creator has a URL on their website. So they can, the idea of, you meet someone and you say, hey, I have a comic, I want to sell it, it's on Comixology. Open up the app, you can send it to them. It's been really popular in social media. We send out a lot of people talk about their books online, and this allows them to engage with their readers. Whereas before, with traditional print books, you would be, speaking, into the heavens. You'd be telling someone about your book, but you can't actually track how that book is going. And now you can actually say, I have a book, it's available on Comixology, here's the URL, you can go buy it. And then the readers are actually, the creators and the readers can actually engage with each other, and it gives them a greater audience than they wouldn't have had before. Comixology Submit launched in March of 2013. Since its inception, we have launched over 2,000 graphic novels, comics, manga, and that equates to over 100,000 pages downloaded. We are represented by, we have creators from 38 countries, and 6 out of the 7 continents are representative. Africa, Europe, Asia, North Africa, South America, and Australia. The only continent that we are not currently receiving content from is Antarctica. Do we have any creators in the crowd here? People who like to make comics? No? Okay. My joke's not going to work then. But if you know anyone who wants to move to Antarctica and make comics for us, we'd really appreciate it, because then we can have all 7. You got it. All right. So far in 2014, overall, as a publisher, Submit is number 3 in content released. So there's Marvel, there's DC, and there's Submit. We are number 5 in downloads of content released, and number 10 in gross revenue. And in 2014 alone, we've had over 1 million downloads of comics on Comixology Submit, which has been amazing. one of our success stories, and this is pretty much perfectly sums up why we created Comixology Submit. So there are these two creators, Joshua Helfialkov and Joe Ferrari. They had this idea that they wanted to do for a comic called The Bunker. And basically The Bunker was the story of, like, if you've seen Lost, you have The Bunker in Lost. They wanted to tell a story about The Bunker from Lost. So they came up with this idea, and they shopped it around. They went to all the publishers. They said, hey, I've got this great idea. You're going to love it. The artwork's amazing. This is what it is. And everyone told them, yeah, that's too smart. Your comic is too smart for American audiences. So publisher after publisher kept telling them, no, we don't want to publish your stuff. So they said, all right, well, we believe in this. And this is what I heard reflected in the keynote. It's like, we believe in this property, right? We want to see this happen. So we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to finance it ourselves, and we're going to distribute it ourselves. And we found out about it. We said that we love what you're doing. They were going to. The plan was to put it up on their website, sell it for DRM-free downloads. And we found out, we're like, you should put it on Comixology, and we will sell this book for you. And they liked that idea because Comixology Submit takes no rights. So they managed to keep all of the rights, which is very appealing to them. They created it themselves. And as a result of their release, it was the #1 selling book the year that it came out, which was last year, 2013. As a result, because they managed to keep all of the rights, Josh was able to shop it around and managed to pick up a TV deal. So the book is now being developed as a television show. And the print rights were picked up by a company called Pony. So here are these two guys. They had an idea. No one really believed in it. So what did they do? They went out and they did it and they proved it. And they used the Comixology Submit platform to help them do that. And that's part of what Submit is about. It's about empowering creators. It's about getting your voice out there. It's about getting your message out there. It's also about expanding the genre of comics. In the United States, comics are very much a superhero-driven industry. Most comics, the bestsellers, are superhero-based. And what Comixology Submit did is it opened it up to more genres. So you have things like sci-fi, we have zombies, we have slice of life, we have murder mysteries, all kinds of stuff. One of the goals that we've always said about Comixology is that we want to turn everyone into the planet into a comic reader. And part of that comes from being able to offer different genres besides superhero stuff. And it's been, and as we pointed out, it's been very successful. We have, we've introduced 900 odd creators to the Comixology platform. We've introduced thousands of new series, thousands of new books, thousands of new attempts, or thousands of new ways to get new readers into buying comics, which is basically what the whole point of Submit is. So, this idea that we had to take what we had built, that had become very successful for these large publishers, and to turn that into something that we could use to empower creators, has been great. It's every day I see people talking on Twitter about how glad they are that we've created this system, about how happy they are that we're supporting these independent creators, because that's where the next idea is coming from. Robert Kirkman, who created The Walking Dead, started out doing it on his own. He financed it himself. He paid for it on his credit cards. And it took him 10 years, but now it's become this major juggernaut of this industry powerhouse that's kind of revolutionizing not just comics but television as well. So Comixology Submit if you're not familiar with it, I highly recommend it. Obviously, you know, we're sorry. Yes, I'd love to open it up to questions if people have any questions.
네, 질문 있으신 분들은 손 들어주시면 마이크를 받으시겠습니다. 여기 앞쪽에 한 분 계시나요? Do you have an earpiece, or do you want to translate?
I can translate.
그 누구나 이제 거기에서 이제 그 웹툰을 만들어서 올릴 수 있는 건가요? 저는 모르겠어요.
So the question was, can anybody and everybody submit their work to the ComiXology Summit?
Yes, yes. The platform is open to everyone. And it's, like I said, it's a non-exclusive agreement. We take absolutely no rights, and it's open to anyone in the world. We support a lot of different languages. So yes, if you are a content creator and you wanted to be able to submit, you, by all means, please submit.
앞쪽에 분이 있는데.
지금 열린 플랫폼을 만드셨는데 이런 플랫폼을 만드는 게 단기적으로 만들 수 있는 건 아니라고 생각이 들거든요. 좀 긴 시간을 들여서 오랜 준비 그다음에 공을 들여서 만들었다고 생각이 되는데 어떻게 이런 아이디어를 판단하셨고 어떻게 이걸 제작을 하게 됐는지.
Yeah, so the question is about like, how you came about this idea in the first place. So he said, obviously it's not really easy to build this platform for a short amount of time. So this probably was a very long-term project. How did you come up with the idea in the first place?
So I like to tell people that the reason why we came up with the platform in the first place was because we wanted to read free comics. It was a passion of mine. It was a passion of David Steinberger, who's our CEO and co-founder. We loved comics, and in the United States, comics has it's a very niche market. And you know, the idea behind ComiXology was it was kind of like the YouTube model, where it's like if you build this great platform that people are going to come to, then they're going to come, they're going to love comics, and they're going to get really excited about it. So we decided to come up with this idea of how can we take these things that we love and present it to people in a way that they're going to love it. And when we first started out, we didn't have the major publishers. We started out with a handful of creators, people that we loved, that we reached out to. We said, hey, we love your book. We want to be able to carry it on our platform. This is our platform. They said, okay, sure, let's do it. And that led to Marvel noticing us and saying, hey, we want you to build a white label for us. And we're like, we want to build a white label for you. And then that led to the other publishers coming on board. And I mean, it took, I mean, we probably started working on it. I mean, the company's been around since 2007, and we launched the platform in 2009. So we had been working on it for a long time. You know, I have a background in comics, a background in technology. So it was all about building something that we thought that people would love, and something that we wanted to you know, for ourselves. And it was a very different landscape at the time. The iPhone had just come out. There weren't a lot of people doing this kind of stuff. It's not like now where, you know, where you have more people entering the space. It was like, this was uncharted territory. And we just proved that we had the best reading experience. Our customer service has been stellar. You know, we listen to the fans, we talk to them, we interact with them, we you know, give them what they want, and we basically built up this community that rallied behind us and would, like, you know, pressure their friends and family into using the platform, which has been amazing. But yeah, it's you know, I think it was, you know, two guys who loved comics and wanted to make this happen, and our passion just, you know, I spent a lot of nights and weekends working on this. When my daughter was born, I was in my wife's room working on my computer because this was, I had to make this happen. This was a passion, and we managed to make it happen.
네, 또 다른 분 질문 있으신가요? 이 앞에 여자분.
Hi, compared to Tapastic.com, I would like to know what's the difference, like how you differ from it?
We're very different.
So the way Comixology works is that you actually buy the individual issues just like you would at a store, right?
Just one second. So I guess the question can be paraphrased the way where obviously we were trying to bring the Korean webtoon model to the US, not necessarily the content but the business model side. So how would you compare the Korean webtoons model and Comixology or Comixology Submit?
Yeah. So you are all familiar with the webtoons model. The first thing about Comixology is that it's not free. You actually have to buy the individual issues. And the way that the US comics market works is that comics usually come out on a monthly basis. They come out on Wednesdays specifically. And through Comixology, you actually buy a license to download the individual issues and then you store them. So unlike the webtoons where you're reading in the scrolling manner, this is where this is a recreation of the print model. So there's no page turning involved, but you're swiping between pages. On the smaller devices, we have what is called guided view, which basically moves you around the screen. So it's different in that sense that it's you're buying something. It's coming out once a month, and then it's traditional reading as opposed to the scroll. Is that sum that up?
Yeah, that's good. 제가 질문 한 2개 정도 더 받을 수 있을 것 같습니다. 아까 손드는 순서를 기억하자면 앞에 저기 양보주신 선생님, 그 다음에 그 뒤에 그 하얀 옷 입으신 여러분.
You provide a platform for the creator to publish stuff. But it seems to me that you help him create very little, not much. So I suppose there would be another alternative models, platforms to help creators to publish. So my question is about your business model. What do you think is the advantage and disadvantage of Comixology model compared with other kind of models?
Well, I would say that so the American comic book reader has a collector mentality, right? And this is basically how comics has managed to survive. In the 1940s when comics had first started, it was not uncommon for a comic to sell millions of copies a month. Now you're lucky if your comic sells 100,000 copies a month. And a lot of the reason why comics has managed to survive is through collectors, right? So, in the 70s and the 80s, stores started to pop up which just sold comics, and this is called the direct market. And the direct market pretty much saved comics. It basically created a specialty hut where people could go to buy and read comics, and they could enjoy it and talk about it with their friends. And so in the United States, it's the collector mentality, like the idea that you want to have it, you want to own it, you want to be able to read it whenever you want. Those things are very strong amongst our readers. It's like they want to have it. We have these things called, we have 99-cent sales, and we have on Mondays and throughout the week. And people will just go up and buy like large groups of comics because it's so cheap. And what you'll see happening is a lot of people will buy it again, right? So they'll buy it. So the way that American comics works is that it starts out as a single issue, 22-page book with ads that comes out on a monthly basis. Once you get to a complete story arc, the content of those books is basically collected into what we call a trade paperback. It's kind of like going from television to DVD. So a lot of people will buy the single issues, which they then put in bags and boards and stick in their in their closet so that it has some value, and then they'll buy the trade paperback because they want to be able to read the story more often. And now what we're finding is that people are actually buying it again digitally because they want to be able to have it whenever they want. So they want to be able to pull it up on their phone. They want to be able to pull it up on their tablet or their smart devices. So I think that it kind of, what we do kind of is in tune with what the American comic reader wants. So internationally, we're looking at things differently, but for now, that's how it's.
Let's try one last question. I'll try to
So from your presentation and from what I know, so the Comixology is only providing the platform, is it right? But what if the creator or someone who drew the comics, what if the content is way too violent or way too sexual or something like that? Do you cut it off, or how do you manage that?
Moderation, content policy.
Yes, so we do. Submit is a curated environment. That means that we basically, check for content issues, or we want to make sure that the content is of a professional quality because it's on sale next to Marvel, it's on sale next to DC. We want to make sure that they're able to, compete with those people. But in the case of, I don't think we've gotten to a point where it's been too sexual or too violent. What we do is we sell. So our platform sells primarily on the web. And then we have an Android application and an Amazon Kindle application. And what we do is for the content that's too extreme for any of the applications, we just sell it on the web and we make sure we put up disclaimers, we mark it as adult only. So it's we have content guidelines that we use to determine whether or not something will ultimately be on the platform itself. And then we have content guidelines to determine whether or not the content will be in one of the applications or sold specifically through the web.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.